What if I told you that most people never truly are at peace because they are addicted to thinking? There are many addictions in the world, and I believe that thinking is one of those addictions that is just overlooked. From the moment people wake up until the moment they go to sleep, the mind is constantly talking. It's commenting on things, it's judging things, it's replaying the past, it's imagining the future. The mind is just like continuously going. And if there's a moment of silence, the mind will usually find something to fill it very quickly. Most people cannot sit in stillness for even a few minutes without reaching for something, without reaching for their phone, without putting the TV on, without music, without social media, without more thinking, thinking about this or giving this more thought, and just constantly in the mind. And why is this? And the reason for this, it's pretty deep, but it's really to do with the ego, because the ego isn't a fan of silence. Silence really threatens the false self. And this is why so many people feel trapped in anxiety, or they're just overthinking things and they're just mentally exhausted. And part of the ego, and I talk about the ego on my channel, is the mind. That's one part of the ego. And the mind is something that people are so completely identified with. They think that their thoughts are them, and then they're constantly using their mind compulsively and never really setting the mind down. And because of this, our life tends to feel more difficult than what it actually is, because the mind can be draining if we're always using it, if we're always thinking about something. And in this video, I want to show you why thinking becomes addictive, how the ego feeds really into thinking and mental noise, and how spiritual awakening begins when you finally learn to just observe the mind, learn how to set the mind down for some time, and allow yourself to create some distance between your mind and who you truly are. The first step is really just observing the mind and really understanding that the mind is always kind of going. Even when nothing is wrong, or nothing's even going on, or you're just sitting there, the mind is searching for something, it's just going on something. And it can be searching for problems, it can be searching for validation, it can be searching for something else to think about. And the mind survives really kind of through this mental activity, and thinking and reacting survives through more thinking and mental activity. And this is why people feel so uncomfortable when doing absolutely nothing. If they sit quietly, their mind usually starts wanting to think about something. It could be a memory, they could be worried about something, they could be thinking about a future scenario, any one of these things. And most people are so identified with this mental activity that they don't even realize that that they're not their thoughts and they're not their mind, and it's not really who they are. They just think it's them, and the voice in their head becomes their identity. Their feelings become who they are. Their thoughts become who they are. And because they never step back from thoughts, they never really experience the peace underneath all of that mental noise. And this is one of the deepest forms of unconsciousness. Because when you are completely identified with thought, you lose direct contact with life itself. You are not in alignment with life. You are not in the present moment. Life is in the present moment. It's not in the mind, and it's not in thinking. So in that sense, you're really missing life entirely. Every addiction, it distracts people from something deeper. It doesn't matter what it is. In this video, I'm talking about thinking, but compulsive thinking is no different from any other addiction in the world. And it's something that like many people are addicted to. Thinking becomes addictive because it keeps people from fully feeling themselves. And when we come into stillness, there might be things that come up. You might feel some fear. You might feel emptiness. You might feel pain, uncertainty. There might be unresolved emotion. So then what happens is that because we don't really want to feel those things, we start thinking about things. And the mind will come up with things like, you need to keep planning, you need to keep thinking, you need to keep worrying, you need to keep going on and on and on and on and on. And if the mind becomes truly still, the false self begins to weaken. And this is what we want to try to do. And this is why silence can feel uncomfortable at first. It won't always feel uncomfortable. You will actually start to enjoy the stillness of this moment, the quietness of this moment. And many people say they want peace, but when silence arrives, they immediately reach for a distraction. Not because silence is bad, but because silence reveals what mental noise is covering. And this is why the modern world is so addicted to stimulation, is so addicted to scrolling on their phones, is so addicted to social media and constant content and constant this information overload and noise and entertainment and all of these things. And it's really, really not good for us. It is not healthy for us to be consuming all of that. And humanity has become uncomfortable with just simply being present. Awakening begins the moment you start observing thought, not fighting it, not suppressing it, not trying to force silence, but just becoming conscious enough and still enough to just be able to observe what's going on in the mind. Because the moment you observe the mind, you will realize something profound. And it may not come right away, but the more you practice this, the more you'll start to be aware of this. There is awareness behind your mind. There is a consciousness behind the mind, that you are not totally just the mind. And if you can hear the voice in your head, then who is listening? That awareness is deeper than the mind. And that awareness is who you are. So thought can appear, and it does, inside of awareness. But awareness itself is already peaceful. It's still. It just is. And this realization changes everything, because you begin to understand you do not have to believe every thought that comes up in your mind. You don't have to believe every feeling that comes up. You do not have to follow every mental story that goes on in your head. You can observe the mind without being trapped in it or without being totally identified with it. And in that space, freedom begins appearing. So how do we begin to free ourselves from overthinking, from kind of this compulsive feeling of needing to think about everything in your life? The first thing is to stop trying to violently force the mind to stop. That usually creates more frustration. So instead, you want to begin gently bringing your awareness into your daily life. And I want to give you just a few simple practices to help in doing this and in practicing this. And this can be your spiritual practice. The first one is just observe your thoughts without judgment. Throughout the day, just notice the voice in your head. Notice what it's saying. Notice what it's coming up with. Notice the thoughts that are going through. Notice the commentary. And instead of becoming lost in it or thinking it's all true, just simply observe it. And this alone weakens identification with it. The second one is return attention to the body. So you want to practice on feeling your breathing, feeling your hands, your feet, your body sitting on your chair, just simply becoming aware of the sensation, the energy within your hands and feet and body. You can feel that. The body anchors awareness into the present moment. And the third one is just spend time in silence. Even if it's just for a couple minutes, try once a day to just put the phone down. Don't listen to music. Don't put the TV on. Don't do any stimulation of anything. Just simply sit. Invite boredom into your life. And it's going to be hard, but it's necessary if you want to be happier and just feel better in your everyday life. At first in mind, it may actually become louder. You may feel this urge to really want to just be on your phone, and that's okay. The fourth one is just to become fully present in simple activities. Whether it be when you're washing dishes, when you're going for a walk, if you're having a coffee, if you're listening to someone speak, if you're at the gym, if you're driving in your car, wherever it is, whatever you're doing, presence grows, stillness grows through attention. So the more deeply present you become, the weaker this overthinking becomes. And the fifth one, the last one I want to talk about, is stop feeding the mind constantly. Most people overload their nervous systems all day. Constant input creates kind of more mental noise. You'll notice at the end of the day, if you just cut out some of that stuff, whatever it may be, you're going to feel just more relaxed and more at ease when you go to bed at night. You're not overloading your mind with stuff, with whatever it may be. So create space. Silence is healing. Presence is healing. And just try to incorporate some of these in your everyday life. And you will notice a shift. You'll notice a positive difference, a positive impact in your life by doing these things. And most people, they spend their lives trapped inside of their thinking and just thinking about all these different things. And they're never fully here, they're never fully present, and they're never fully alive because they're stuck in this compulsive thinking. And the mind, again, which is part of the ego, keeps pulling attention into the past and in the future. But to live beyond the ego is to live in the now, and life is unfolding in the now. But underneath all the mental noise, there is something deeper already here, and that is presence, and that is stillness, and it is awareness, and there is peace there. And that is ultimately who you are. You are the awareness behind the mind. You are not the voice in the head. And awakening, spiritual awakening, begins the moment you stop unconsciously feeding the mind and identifying with the mind and thinking that it is you. And when you start then to begin to observe it instead. Not perfectly, but consciously. By just giving a little bit of willingness there in your everyday life, you'll begin to see that what I'm saying is true. And one moment of presence at a time, just simply bringing your attention there, because freedom is not found through more thinking. Freedom appears the moment you realize you are the awareness behind thought. If you resonated with this video, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you want more teachings on awakening, presence, inner peace, stillness, and freedom from the ego, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one.